Good evening, everybody. Welcome to my dressage tutorial on creating a dressage freestyle, and tonight we're going to be working on the choreography. Welcome to my garden. I have been in it all day calling my dogs who would not come. Now I'm doing a video for you. They both joined me, so you will get a little intrusion from them maybe. So I'm going to start pulling things together for you. In the workbook you have a document that has two tests, a prelim and a novice. Obviously, once we go beyond that, we can work on that, our mediums, our advanced mediums, way up to Grand Prix. But for now, we have novice and prelim tests. You also have your arena document, which I want you to be working with. I've sent everybody a link to the British Dressage judging requirements. And I want to explain how all of these things fit together. When we start trying to create a dressage music freestyle, I can remember way back 25 years ago trying to create my own dressage to music test, and I just thought it was so difficult. So I finished up basing it on a novice test that I'd written that I thought we were quite good at. But of course, the judge had seen that novice test thousands of times, so knew where I'd got my choreography from. So my inventiveness marks weren't particularly good. So I learned from that mistake. In your choreography, this test needs to be your test, not anybody else's, not one that you've looked at on the internet and thought, well, that looks nice. It's got to be a test that works for you and your horse, and brings out the best in you. We've already spoken about the requirements, so we know what we need in there. And they're not too difficult. I think pretty much all of the riders that I work with are capable of that. Okay, you might have your intro horse that isn't yet cantering in competition, but thinking we've got a horse walk, trot and canter, everything that's in those prelims and novice tests, you're all more than capable of. So how do we start designing our test? I want you to think about that judges list from British Dressage, instructions on how to judge a freestyle. Now, one of the first things you may notice about that document, if you've had a chance to read it, is they don't give you the requirements for each test. As we go through the levels, they simply tell you what you may not have in it. And I think this is pretty clever, because what it's saying to us is, as soon as we start competing dressage, we are putting ourselves on the trajectory of being a Grand Prix dressage rider. That's where our aim is going, from intro right up to the top. We have Grand Prix. And so if we design a test at a lower level, we have to take things out of that Grand Prix test that we are not yet capable of. And so therefore, as we go towards Grand Prix from our novice, our elementary, our medium, our advanced medium, as we get to advanced work, we're putting more and more in. This helped me design my dressage test, because I thought, well, if I look at how Grand Prix tests work, we're looking at riders really at the pinnacle of our sport. And it's really interesting to see how they cover the arena. Do we do that? Do we really cover the arena as well as we could if we're thinking about a simple prelim or a simple novice? Well, we could. If you think about watching maybe Carl Hester do a long diagonal to a centre line into a canter pirouette and out in canter half pass. Well, of course we can't do that with our prelim or novice horse, but we can trot a diagonal, trot a circle off the centre line and trot away. If we're a novice horse, we could canter in, canter a circle, trot and leg yield away. So I want you to think about all the best Grand Prix tests you've seen and how you could recreate that with your horse using the required elements and not using any of the unrequired elements. When you start the test, it's really important to have visual impact immediately. I very rarely have somebody trotting down the centre line, halting and then departing down the centre line. Those straight lines are really difficult. I love to have a horse come in, here at the top, sometimes stopping at G, trotting down to X, then taking a diagonal over to say H, and then maybe putting in a circle. Get something in there immediately. Get your horse listening to you. Get him in the left rein, get him in the right rein, get him working from behind, listening to you. And don't think about somebody reading that test for you. You've got to feel it, you've got to live it. You don't then think, and at H, and at R, and at X. You feel where those things are. And we want it to come up pretty snappy to begin with. Get the horse listening to you, and if you've got any nerves, get yourself working through that. Get into the test immediately. Try not to make too many straight lines down the long side. They're so boring. You need to give yourself a destination. You need to give yourself something to do when you're there, not when you arrive at P, you're thinking about doing something else. Everything has got to be beautiful. Give me something in every position around the arena. You're going to use the length of the arena. You're going to use the width of the arena. If you were on stage, you wouldn't stand in the wings delivering your lines. You would go to the middle and go, here I am, listen to what I have to say. When you do your halt, I always think halt shouldn't be halt. Halt should be ta-da. Even if things haven't gone particularly well. Help with the dogs again. Even if things haven't gone particularly well, if you can smile and work your way through and sit up tight, you've only had moments that have gone wrong, believe me. The judge wants to give you these marks. So, homework. You are going to look through the tests that I've written and you are going to draw them on your arena diagram. If you laminate it, you can do it in water-soluble pen and rub it out when you've done. And I want you to look at where things happen in that arena and how we're covering the arena. So you don't necessarily have to do my test. You can sit down tonight with a glass of wine and draw it through and do it and ride it. And then think about how you could ride that with your horse and what would make those tests better for your horse. Report back. If you've got any questions, post them after this video and I'll endeavour to answer everybody's questions. I'd like to know how you're getting on because next week we'll be talking about music and that really rocks my boat. I'll speak to you all soon, but I hope to hear from you this week. Take care.